because y'all are all horsemen of the industry in transportation. Dan, Daniel, I'm sorry, sir. Jeff. Y'all are all working in this industry. How often do you see cracks in sidewalks?
All the time.
All the time. And how often do they get fixed?
Very rarely.
That's exactly our point. So without further ado, I would like to give it to Ryan to introduce themselves.
We are PB&J Industries, and our main focus is to make sure that sidewalkers have safe and enjoyable sidewalks. And we made a survey to hear problems and concerns about the survey. One of our big problems were cracks, tripping hazard, and not being wheelchair accessible. We also noticed that there wasn't enough maintenance coming through, so a way to solve that problem would be having more workers come and also having our walkers take better care of the sidewalk. And these are some examples of cracks in the sidewalk. As a company, we want to ensure safety for our walkers, and we want to make sure, according to our survey, there was about 45% of people who don't feel safe while walking. So we wanted to prevent that by making sure it's well maintained, and then also doing more such as adding street lights or stoplights, and then also making sure that we have good quality such as improving the paving and the resurfacing.
So to begin this project, we first needed to read up on how to conduct this survey and how to be able to interpret this data. So for our first subject, we looked at sidewalk safety. This was essentially the different qualities that keep people safe on the sidewalks and prevent injuries and other things like that. Next was pedestrian travel and pedestrian mobile phones, which play into each other because they're both human dependent. You can't predict to a 100% accurate level how humans will move, how they will act. So in order to do that, we must take as much preventable measures to at least get close to that 100%. That was the main focus that we read on. Next, we read articles on sidewalk maintenance. As Dan said, it does not happen often. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that programs like LiDAR are used to be able to speed up that process and not happen less as often. Okay, and next we researched built environments, which is essentially how a community is built, how it's structured, which may change how maintenance can work. For example, if you're in a busy city, you're not going to be able to work as fast on sidewalks compared to a small, quiet town of 70 people. Next, we researched accessibility related to people in wheelchairs or other motor disabilities that would prevent them from being able to access sidewalks. We also factored in people with vision impairments and hearing impairments as well. Sidewalk availability is essentially access to well-constructed, up to standard, or just in general, access to sidewalks. And we put heavy amounts of research into this because it plays into accessibility. When we go into our data analysis, we will explain it more, but essentially there are just some sidewalks that are not accessible for people with motor disabilities, and we would like to eliminate that as fast as possible. Next, or finally, we researched citizen science, which is the most important thing when conducting a survey because it's essentially how a survey works. And this established the foundation for our survey, the questions we would be asking, and how we interpreted the data.
Alright, so making our survey, at the very beginning, we really struggled with making good questions that would give us like good data. So at first, our questions were way too broad. We weren't on topic with some things. So we decided to make more specific questions. We added dichotomous questions, multiple choice questions, quantitative questions, so like rating things, qualitative questions as well, so open-ended free response. And this made it just much easier to fill out and complete the survey and give us good data.
Data collection. So our collection process consisted of us as a group, us four, and we split it into twos. We ventured around the campus and found sidewalks that was deemed worthy of taking the survey for. detailed that there was a lot, or a vast majority of the results that we had got was cracking the foundation, along with various other issues.
Going straight into data analysis to confirm Dallas's hypothesis is that based on the answers of our 20 surveys, we found that cracks in the sidewalk was the most prominent issue, taking up exactly 75% of surveys, reporting that as a problem. Damaged and missing pieces reported around 20%, while lifting and potholes made up 5%. And a lack of lifting and potholes made up 10%, and a lack of ramps covered 5%. I apologize. With this information, we can confirm that the main problem on campus is cracks within said sidewalk. Next up, we looked at general safety for sidewalks and overall just general needs. So out of the 20 answers, 90% of people found it easy to cross streets around campus. This means that there was access to traffic signs to identify when they want to walk. There was adequate lighting, so if at night they're not seen by drivers passing through. Everything was up to date and up to standard, while 10% did not find that the street conditions were adequate. 75% of our sample size found that the sidewalks allowed for comfortable travel without tripping, without falling, just a smooth, nice stroll through the campus, while 25% found that it was the opposite. 55% of our survey takers said that they do not feel safe while on campus due to a lack of maybe visibility or, like we mentioned in the previous question, tripping, falling, and other things like that, while 45% said the opposite. And our next questions followed the same mentality. Were traffic signs present and maintained? Walking signs, stop signs, anything of the like? We found that 50% for yes and 50% for no. It was a very divided topic. Good lighting around sidewalks was frequent, with 90% of people saying yes and 10% saying no, which is a good thing. We want that. And then finally, our last questions related directly to the appearance of the sidewalk and just overall how it looked to people from a regular person's view. Majority of our survey takers believed the sidewalk was average looking, around 5 to 6. There are a couple of cracks, a couple of problems, but it's nothing that's going to immediately stand out to them as, oh, I don't want to walk here. While the least amount was anything below 4 or a perfect 10, which means we're doing all right, but we could obviously be improving in some areas when it comes to how these sidewalks look and how they are maintained. Which leads me into our next point, which is that 64% of people strongly disagree that maintenance comes out often to fix things, while 32% only slightly disagree, and 4%, one person thought neutral. Nobody agreed that maintenance comes out often. And here's a map of our survey. Now, Dallas, could you point to it for me? Essentially, it's more widespread around campus. You can see kind of a break in that middle area right there. But overall, it's a campus-wide issue, and it's not focused in one place. So what we need to do is make sure we hit as many spots as possible, because I believe that there's way more outside of the campus on the outside realm that we need to fix. So we will definitely be looking at that as well.
So to sum all this up, our survey ended up being successful. Like I said in the beginning, there were different things that we could have changed. So like not having enough open-ended questions. It would have been nice to hear more feedback from other people and just have a variety of answers. In order to cater our service to a larger area, we need to include more questions